What is up, YouTube? My name is Aditya, and welcome back to our channel, Watches for Trading. And in this video, I'm going to discuss about some more advanced topics that will help you to decide a bias, and you will be able to take some high probability trades on the basis of what I tell you here. You will be able to understand how your trade setup should be well structured, so that you are able to trade in that direction. All right. So the number one thing that you need here is to have a bias. Now, how do you develop a bias? It's very important. Let's try to understand this. How do you develop a bias? You try to look at the candlesticks on monthly, weekly, daily time frames. So once you are looking at the candlesticks on weekly and daily time frames, you get an anticipation of what the next candle could do. So every other candlestick that you see here works the same way as it works on the 1 minute time frame. So what do we have here? If you see here today, we had this little gap around here, and let's just mark this gap. All right, so I mark the closing price and the opening price of the gap. I don't mark this, so there's a gap between the body. That's important for me. Now here, if you see, there's a down candle. I'll go to the 1 minute time frame, and I'll select any of the gap that I see, and we'll see what happens in the next particular candle. All right. So let's check somewhere here. Perfect. So if you see, we have a gap right here. So I'll simply mark this gap. Now just see what happens as soon as the next candle is formed. As soon as the next candle is formed, the price goes up right here and forms a bearish candle. That is a lot of information on 1 minute time frame that you can go and apply the same on the daily time frame. So if you see here now, the price did the same thing. Right here, you have this daily bias that the markets can go ahead and create a bearish candle right here. The same way, if you look at this order block, this down candle and this up candle, if you see this, if you mark right here, this is where you can anticipate that whenever there is a down candle, the next candle can be a bullish candle, a candle that is good, that has a good size and can push higher. This is how you need to anticipate and start doing things on daily time frame. I will cover this in more depth and more detail in the coming sessions, but I need you to focus on how you can understand a candlestick. So now let's say you have this candlestick right here. So what happens whenever there is a candlestick that has a pin bar right like this? If I go to 5 minute time frame and I select a candlestick that has a pin bar, let me see what happens on the next candle. If you see this candle has a pin bar around above it. It's a pin bar candle. What happens in the next candle? Probably goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, falls here. Pretty nice, right? So what if you have this candlestick right here? What can you anticipate or expect from this candle? I can expect that the price can simply push up around here and then fall down somehow, right? And this is the closing price that I want to see because this is the gap. So I want to see the price pushing higher first and then coming back down. That's going to be my focus. My focus is going to be all around here. That is how you need to start anticipating things and start doing things. Now, if this particular if this particular chart is extremely bearish, markets will simply push up a little bit here and then fall extremely down, right? So that's how it's going to work out. So now what I did is I'm trying to anticipate what a daily candle could look like. And if you can anticipate the same, trust me, you will be able to perform a lot of nice intraday moves. You'll be able to catch a lot of nice intraday moves if you understand what the daily candle is doing. Now, what's the next step? So number one step was to decide a daily time frame bias. What is the second step? Second step is to give your trade a narrative. And I try to understand this narrative on the smaller time frame. So let me just go to the daily time frame once again. Yeah, so we have these two levels. I know that somewhere here there should be some bearishness. Look at this candle. That's a bearish order block. Price definitely like look at this, right? Touch the body of this candle, fell lower. So what I'll do is I'll just go to the 5 minute time frame. Okay. Now you need to understand the narrative of what the price is doing. So you have this high, you have this low, you have this high, you have these highs and these lows. So whenever the price creates a high and a low, you need to understand which high or low or which liquidity above this high or below this low or this low is market trying to hunt. That will decide your narrative. So if you remember, we were already bearish somewhere here. I'll just mark it on daily time frame. All right, I will use this closing price of this candle and I'll go to 5 minute time frame. So now here, when I have a narrative that is bearish, what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to do next? I'm anticipating a bearish candle on daily time frame. So I am developing a narrative and I'm looking at the tape. Now, what is tape reading? I'm simply understanding the candlesticks and everything. So I'm just looking at how the candlesticks are forming. We have a nice bearish order block right here. This is the 50% of the order block. I have to decide if this high needs to be hunted or not. That is how I'm developing a narrative. And then I'm focusing on if the market is probably going to take out this low or this low. All right. So once I have the daily time frame candlestick, it's very important, guys. Daily time frame candlesticks are extremely important for me. If I can anticipate a trade around here, it will definitely give me good rewards. Now, what happens next? Let's try to understand this. This is where I have my level marked. What happens next? This is where my 50% of the order block is. Now, if I see the price is respecting this order block on 50% level here, I'm not going to enter right here, but I'm just looking at what the order flow is telling us. Look at every other candlestick right after this. So this is where I want to then take the next step. And what is the next step, guys? Once you develop a bias and a narrative, let me just go back here. Once you develop a bias and a narrative, and the next step from all of this process is how you want to take your entries. This becomes now very important. You need to have your own entry models. You need to decide how you want to take your entries on what basis and everything. So once again, if you realize, if you're trading on the daily time frame bias, you will be able to capture the bigger momentum like this. That's very important. If you can anticipate these things on the daily time frame candlesticks, that will make it easier for you to take trades in that particular direction. So the same way, if you see here, what do I have? I have the daily time frame bias that was bearish because it works the same way as on 1 minute time frame. You can go ahead, look at the daily candlestick for the next day and look at the 1 minute candlestick, figure out the same pattern, and then you can identify the same things. And then when you are here, try to decide a narrative, because what you're trying to do is trying to take longs right here, around here, trying to take longs without keeping this thing in mind, that you need to, while you're taking entries, your narrative should be either bullish or bearish or neutral. This is where a lot of people get stuck. You need to have a bullish bias or sorry, a bearish bias. I'll just do this. You need to have a bullish bias or a bearish bias, or you need to stay on neutral, because around this area, you should be neutral. If you're taking trades around these areas, this is very wrong. But if you are able to make clear space for yourself in your mind that this is where I'm neutral, what I'll do is I'll wait for the prices to give me more information. I want to see this order block being respected, and the price should not go above this order block. Once I see this order block getting respected, I automatically decide that this low needs to be hunted. And once I get this order block respected, I am waiting for the price to give me some sort of entry criteria around this area. That could be your gap around here. I can take trades around here and then understand a bias that is bearish. And the more you enter your trades around these levels, which was on the basis of the daily time frame, the better it becomes for you to hold on to your trades, because understand, these levels, they have huge amount of momentum. I'll go back to a daily time frame. I'll remove everything here and I'll just show you. Just observe this particular order block right here. Okay, the opening price of this order block. Look at these two levels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there are 5 days. We'll just check on all of these 5 days what happens and how the momentum takes place around these levels. 8th Feb 2023. Let's go to the 5 minute time frame. 8th Feb 2023. So this is 8 Feb 2023. Huge momentum. Once again, great momentum. Even here, great momentum. Now this day, it was still okay. this is where you need to align. That was your bias. This level was your bias, but you need to align a narrative. If the narrative is clear, you can start taking trades around here. Like it could be anywhere. But if your narrative is not clear, then you will be messed up. Now, once again, if you see this, this is where it fell lower, but my bias was supposed to be bullish. My bias was supposed to be bullish. So if at all I'm taking trades around these levels, there is a high possibility for me to make money. And on the next day, what happens? My bias gets confirmed even here, and look at the momentum that we get. This day, it just continues the momentum. And here, we are not bullish at all because we have reached the area where we were supposed to reach for. And that's what we can see here. Now you have to align your ideas, you need to align your trade ideas, your bias, along with this narrative and then with your entry to have a successful trade. That's how you need to decide and take entries. You cannot enter multiple times, you cannot enter at multiple areas. You need to understand these things. All right. So this is where I'll end the video, guys. I hope you liked it. So make sure hit the like button, share this video as much as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.